Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into what I like to call the ultimate retirement dilemma. We're looking at a huge financial crossroads that basically every senior citizen or anyone helping their parents manage a retirement corpus is facing right now in the current market. We want to help you maximize that yield, but obviously without gambling your life savings. So let's just get right into it.
So, here's a scenario that's probably playing out across dinner tables everywhere right now. You're looking at standard fixed deposits. Hey, they're giving you a very respectable 8.2%. You feel pretty good about that, right? But then, you open the financial paper or you see an ad and you spot a small finance bank offering a massive 9.1% return. It kind of feels like spotting a unicorn, doesn't it? That extra yield is unbelievably tempting, especially when you're on a fixed income, where literally every single decimal point matters. It is totally human nature to want to chase that higher return.
But before you rush out to transfer your entire life savings over to the highest bidder, we really need to hit pause. There is a severe, fine print catch hiding behind that flashy 9.1% rate, and it's a catch that could literally wipe out your hard-earned money if you aren't paying attention. Today, we're breaking down the absolute truth behind these numbers, because with the markets swinging the way they are lately, you simply cannot afford a wrong move.
Section 1. SCS, the safe bedrock.
So, the Senior Citizen Savings Scheme, or SCSS, offers a rock-solid 8.2% interest rate. But what's really interesting here isn't just the number, it's what sits behind it. This scheme is backed by the full faith of the Indian government. That's not just some marketing jargon. It means your principal is literally as secure as it can possibly be within the entire financial system.
Let's quickly look at why this is the cornerstone for so many retirees. First, it provides zero-tension quarterly payouts. They hit your bank account like absolute clockwork, making it a non-negotiable bedrock for anyone over 60 who relies on this as their primary pension. You lock it in for 5 years, you can extend it by 3 more, and there is absolutely zero market risk. But we've got to look at the whole picture here. The major pain point, and honestly, this is what drives people to look elsewhere, is that the interest is fully taxable. By the time you take that 8.2% and slice off the taxes, the actual cash in your pocket barely beats inflation. Your purchasing power is basically just treading water.
Section 2. SFBs, the growth booster.
Now, when we introduce small finance banks, or SFBs, into the mix, suddenly you're looking at yields jumping up to a peak of 9.1% at certain institutions. That is a massive psychological leap from the low 8s, right? It represents a genuine opportunity to actually outpace inflation and grow your wealth during retirement, rather than just merely preserving it. To make this concrete, just look at these numbers side by side. You've got Uttarakhand SFB leading the pack at 9.1%. Right below that, AU SFB is offering a very strong 8.5%. And then at the bottom, there's our standard SCSS baseline at 8.2%. So what does this actually mean for your wallet? While for senior citizens, that's an extra 0.9% to 1.2% over the government scheme. To put that into perspective, if you have a 15 lakh rupee deposit, you're looking at nearly 15,000 rupees in extra cash every single year. That's a vacation or a dedicated medical fund. It is real, tangible money. So the absolute crucial point here is comparing the unshakable safety of government backing against the highly lucrative but definitely riskier market growth of SFBs. On one side, you have your safety net. You will never ever lose sleep over an SCSS deposit. But on the other side, you have your growth engine. You just have to remember, the very second you step away from the government scheme and into a small finance bank, market risk suddenly enters the chat.
Which brings us to Section 3, the 5 lakh catch. You absolutely, unequivocally must understand DICGC insurance, because this rule is the single linchpin protecting your small finance bank deposits. The Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation provides a safeguard, sure, but it strictly covers only up to 5 lakh rupees per bank. And by the way, that includes both your principal and the interest earned. Let me repeat that, per bank. Any deposit amount that exceeds this specific 5 lakh limit is completely unprotected.
And this sums up the brutal reality. If that bank goes under, anything above 5 lakh is gone. Period. Imagine taking 15 lakh rupees, dumping it all into one highly rated small bank, just chasing that 9.1% yield. And then a crisis hits. Your first 5 lakh? Safe. But the remaining 10 lakh of your retirement? Completely wiped out. You simply cannot treat a small finance bank like a government vault.
Moving on to Section 4, market context.
Okay, so why are these rates so incredibly high right now, and why is there a genuine sense of urgency here? This perfectly illustrates the current market ceiling. With the RBI holding the repo rate steady at 6.5% and equity markets facing some serious volatility, conservative money is absolutely flooding into fixed income. And well, what happens when banks get too many deposits? They don't need to offer massive incentives anymore. This means banks might lower these peak 9.1% rates very, very soon. We are literally sitting at the absolute top of the interest rate cycle right now. Locking in these high rates today is a super smart move, but only if you do it safely.
Section 5. The tranche strategy.
So how do we actually navigate this? How do we grab that high yield without betting the farm? Well, here is your winning, actionable blueprint for 2026. We call this the 3-tranche method. By following this strategy, you're basically engineering a portfolio that works for you in all weather conditions. Step 1, Tranche 1. You take your short-term cash, funds you might need in the next 1 to 2 years, and you put them into SFB FDs to milk those peak rates right now. Step 2, Tranche 2. This is your foundation. You lock your long-term core retirement corpus into the absolute safety of the SCS for 5 or more years. This guarantees your core survival money for when rates eventually drop. And finally, Step 3, an optional Tranche 3. Keep some accessible emergency funds in a standard, highly liquid fixed deposit.
Now here is exactly how you execute Tranche 1 without falling into that trap. The absolute golden rule here is to perfectly slice up your SFB portion. You split your money across multiple small finance banks, never ever exceeding 5 lakh rupees in any single one. So you put 5 lakh in SFB Bank 1, another 5 lakh in Bank 2, and another 5 lakh in Bank 3. Bam! You are now fully insured across all 3 by the DICGC, you're maximizing your yield, and all the while, the massive remaining bulk of your core corpus stays securely tucked away in the government-backed SCSS.
When you structure it properly like this, you genuinely get the absolute best of both worlds. You aren't forcing yourself to choose between safety and growth, you're strategically deploying both. Your SCSS is your safety shield, defending your baseline lifestyle, while your carefully distributed SFB FDs act as your growth booster, fighting off inflation and giving you that extra breathing room. You achieve all of this without turning your hard-earned retirement into a casino game.
You know, markets will always swing, and interest rates will inevitably change, but the one thing that should remain constant is the security of your retirement. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a fascinating choice for your own portfolio. Based on the 5 lakh rule and this tranche strategy we've explored today, what are you going to do? Will you stick entirely with the undeniable bedrock of the SCSS? Or is it time to safely engineer a little more growth? Run your numbers and be sure to structure your wealth shield wisely.